did you know that Lapis was the one responsible for destroying half of Russia because Homeworld wanted to install the galaxy warp on the planet?
Should she suffer? All right, clap if you think she should suffer.
Trash. I know.
Why wasn't this crucial information given to us on the show, I hear you asking? I'll tell you why. It's because our boy Steven wasn't there to see it.
Why couldn't she just stop the colonization herself? She tried.
Politically correct diamond, is that it?
Yeah, that's what Cody said.
Imagine a world rich with history and lore drops just like this one, but the only thing standing in our way of making those exciting new discoveries is a relatively carefree 14-year-old boy. Side note, are we really supposed to believe that Lapis was having so much fun with Steven that she accidentally made the generous 22-hour flight to Russia and then back to the barn without the crystal gems and Greg getting a little worried about him? How did this happen? Steven Universe is one of the first Western cartoons to feature a storyline that is only told from the perspective of a main character. And this is the greatest reason for why I believe that Steven Quart's universe is the perfect protagonist. That's right, I know how to make positive videos about my favorite shows too.
Finally!
Let's play a game. Which crystal gem hasn't tried to get Steven killed before on purpose? Yeah, Lapis, Peridot and Bismuth need no explanation. Pearl was more than happy to watch our boy fall to his death, and if any one of Amethyst's attacks landed while she was fighting him, it would have been a wrap. So that just leaves Garnet, the only crystal gem that hasn't tried to get Steven killed. I said on purpose. Garnet and Steven without a doubt has some of my favorite interactions on the entire show. That's because instead of portraying Garnet as this bland and robotic parental figure, she was written to be an incredibly dynamic character who also took Steven's advice even when he was a child.
If you just throw enough garnet at a diamond for long enough, it'll cut through it.
That was easy.
Created by Rebecca Sugar herself, Steven Universe issue number 8 told the story of one of Steven and Garnet's most heartwarming adventures. As in, it featured a corrupted gem with the power to sense the heartbeats of all organic life. A corrupted gem that led Steven to discovering one of his family's greatest secrets. The comic issue starts off with Steven and Garnet preparing to tackle a corn maze together at the barn, without the use of Garnet's future vision of course, as Lars and Bug get ready to enter the maze along with them. The race begins to find the maze's exit, and we're almost immediately shown evidence that something really big has been lurking around the area, but is that All Might?
Do you remember how I gave my power to you? What I said that day?
Eat this!
No, not that part.
Steven sneakily uses a mysterious hole in the ground to cheat the entire maze, reaching its ending before anyone else in his group, choosing to spend the rest of his time socializing with a raccoon. Moments before it's grabbed and taken underground by a giant monster, Steven, fearing for the long-term safety of his new friend, rushes into action and discovers a secret underground compartment in the hole, leading to him finding his family's secret underground bunker, which was now being inhabited by a peaceful corrupted lizard gem who was taking care of a local population of raccoons. After being caught back up to the surface by Garnet, Steven decides that it'd be smart to not tell her about the weird situation happening in his underground bunker, but tells her anyway once he realizes that she already saw what he did using future vision. Steven assures Garnet that the corrupted gem living in the maze is completely harmless and would never do anything to force humans down in the underground bunker against their will. So the corrupted gem living in the maze forces Lars underground against his will, leading Garnet and Steven to venture into the bunker in hopes of saving his life before he gets smothered to death. Without listening to Steven's objections, Garnet pulls the corrupted gem by brutally smashing her face in, causing all of the baby raccoons to run off in every direction. Steven, unable to get his mind off of the raccoons living without their caretaker, decides to enter the burning room without the other gem's knowledge in hopes of getting the lizard monster's gemstone. But Garnet gets there first. Steven and Garnet release the corrupted gem back into the DeMayo family bunker, trusting it to look after the baby raccoons once more. You guys remember how awkward Last One Out of Beat City was? The episode clearly would have been structurally better if Steven wasn't in it. This was undeniably written to be a Pearl and Amethyst episode, with Steven lurking in the background of every scene like a creep. Steven Universe issue number 15 being a story where Ruby and Sapphire solve a dangerous dungeon together, as a light parody of the Fireboy and Water Girl series was faced with a similar dilemma of being literally forced to include Steven. That's right, not even the series' official entire run of comics was freed from the perspective rule. But this story in particular actually managed to pull it off flawlessly. Steven was not only a vital part of Ruby and Sapphire's mission, but it's clear that the entire story in itself wouldn't have worked if Steven wasn't in it. The issue begins with Steven playing one of his new games when Garnet offers him to go on another mission together. Naturally, Steven agrees and Garnet explains that the mission is to recover two volatile gemstones called the Frozen Fragment and the Scorching Shard. Two gemstones that were both related to the shooting star, as in they'd explode if they weren't handled properly. After warping to the mission's location, the duo race to the entrance, but Steven beats Garnet there by using his floating powers to give himself an extra boost. Once the duo finally enter the temple securing the gemstones, Garnet reveals that if the red and blue gemstones aren't kept at their preferred temperatures, they'd instantly get warped back to their original position even if they're bubbled. Do this enough times and they both explode. Because of this, Garnet decides to unfuse, giving Ruby and Sapphire a chance to keep the gemstones at their preferred temperatures, carefully carrying them outside of the temple and then trying to bubble them. On the count of 3, Ruby and Sapphire grab the Scorching Shard and the Frozen Fragment respectively, leaving them with the simple task of taking the gemstones outside to bubble them. Naturally, Ruby and Sapphire end up distracting each other, causing the gemstones to teleport back to their original position and activating one of the temple's traps. Ruby and Sapphire quickly form Garnet to save Steven from being roasted alive. Steven and Garnet gather their thoughts and attempt to retrieve the two gemstones again using the exact same plan, leading to them getting the exact same results. Except this time the temple would activate an ice trap instead of a fire one. Steven ingeniously comes up with a plan to be Ruby and Sapphire's guide on their third attempt, ensuring that they wouldn't stop halfway through their mission this time to start flirting with each other. With Steven as the official leader of the mission, the team managed to successfully complete their daunting task and Ruby and Sapphire celebrate by continuously complimenting each other, this time without having to worry about an ancient temple getting in their way. Garnet reforms once more, and having completed their mission, the team begin to make their way back home.
Priceless. There are some things money can't buy.
If I'm being perfectly honest, Steven kind of started off as a brat, but that was by design. One of the coolest behind the scenes aspects of the show by far was the fact that Rebecca Sugar revealed that she actually planned for Rose Quartz to be Pink Diamond before the show even began production. When you learn this, it becomes way more clear why Steven and Pink Diamond are agreed to be the best written characters on the entire show. They're literally two sides of the same coin. Steven slowly became a more impatient character as the show went on, and Pink Diamond, having her arc playing out in reverse, became a more patient and loving person, getting us to fully experience the story of how Steven found out the truth about his mother from his perspective. Was one of the most impactful moments in cartoon history, and then unpacking the entire journey of how we were able to get to this point in the first place brought the entire series together. Genuinely a masterclass in storytelling. Steven Universe was an amazing show that literally gave us the chance to grow up with its main character. We were forced to view this magical world through his eyes, and now that we have a full picture, I understand that this is something that should definitely be celebrated.